Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Tonello. I want to thank you for tuning in to this week's Bot Talk. So, we're going to do things a little bit differently. Today, it's not a deck profile. Today, we're actually going to have a Bot Talk. It's a bit of an odd concept for this channel, really. So, what are we looking at? Obviously, as you see on your screen, we are going to be looking at secret actions. Currently, these are the 8 secret actions that have been released that we can legally play in the Transformers TCG. All these cards were released in Set 3, War for Cybertron, Siege 1. Now, I would like to take a quick shout out to Computron Labs. Computron Labs provided this fantastic layout for us. They are a wonderful website that gives us tournament deck lists, feature deck lists, online resources, statistics for certain characters, as well as a very, very vast card library. On top of that, they are also a good hub that lets you find out who's doing what content in the Transformers online community. Now, another thing I need to stress very, very much, this is an opinion piece. These are all my own opinions. I am not having any outside influence saying, hey, this is the best card, or hey, this is this card. And these are all my thoughts and all my own opinions. If you differ from me, that is fantastic. I am still getting used to doing content like this, but I've played enough games where I can feel I can talk about this, give some thoughts, and share my thoughts and views with everybody. So, what we're going to be covering in this video is what the card does, how many we should be playing, when we should be going for these abilities, and if it's a mainboard card or a sideboard card. And we'll be covering these in no specific order. But we are, again, I do want to stress this is all my own opinion. So, if you guys differ with me, that's fine. Now, going into this, we are going to be looking at Battlefield Report. So, Battlefield Report is a blue pip secret action that does say reveal when one of your characters defends, draw 2 cards, and put a card from your hand on top of your deck. So, I think this is a fantastic card. This is probably one of my favorite cards in the game right now, next to Hiding Spot. We'll cover Hiding Spot a little bit down the road. When we should play it. We should play it when our hand is low. Since this is a defensive draw, this will trigger on the opponent's turn as the top 4 cards, Battlefield Report, Bolster, Dampening Field, and Defensive Formation, all trigger when you have a legal attacker and a legal defender before flips, but after opposing character effects triggers. So they say while attacking, they attack, so they're attacking. They get their effects, but before flips happen, we get to use this ability. So, why do I like this, and when do I think it should be played? So, we should be playing Battlefield Report when our hand is low on the opposing person's turn, or we are using this to possibly dig for something on the opponent's turn, looking for, like, say, a reinforced plating, a scoundrel's blaster, a grenade launcher, something to help us dig to be able to push damage through on the next turn. As it's a blue card, we have a lot of draw in blue. We have Inspiring Leadership and Pep Talk, just to name a few. There's a lot of draw in blue. I really like this because it's a defensive draw. It lets us draw on the opponent's turn. It lets us set up and refill our hand. As I said before, it lets us dig for stuff. And I gave the reasons on when you should play it. Hand is low or you're digging for something. For me, this is an automatic 3 of. I've seen some people run it at 2, and I know that's because they're also running Inspiring Leadership, or they're running Pep Talk, or the other draw cards. I'm running this at a 3 of because I want to be able to get options for my turn on my opponent's turn. The other reason why I think this is such a good card is this lets us put in those security checkpoints, or the handheld blasters, on top of the deck, out of our hand, so that we're able to use it for defensive purposes and make sure our bots live. Is this a main board or sideboard card? I, honest to God, think this is a main board card. This is a 3 of in the main board, at the very least a 2 of, depending on the deck. Next up is Bolster. Bolster, once again, is when one of your characters defends, you reveal the card, and you may play an armor onto that defender. So, we have some okay stuff in orange. We have, at the very least, sparring gear, and we have improvised shield. Those are some of the armors off the top of my head in orange. I really see Bolster being used in a blue deck, or probably the most best way to profit off of Bolster is in a mixed deck, like Metroplex or Ultra Magnus. Because when they come in with a big attack, we can reveal it and put on um, reinforced plating on somebody, or sparring gear, or we can put on extra padding, which lets us put on more extra paddings via extra padding's ability. We really do need to profit off of this best we can. I've given you the two things, the two deck types I would run it in. I would even probably splash it in orange, because this could let us put on, I think, Scramper Gauntlets in orange, or Bashing Shield in orange. But I truly think putting this in a mixed deck is probably the best way to go. But this is a card for any of the decks, really. It just depends on what you want to do and how armor focused your deck really is. Um, in terms of numbers, I honestly think maybe this is at a 2 of, with maybe a third in the sideboard, depending on how often you want to see it. Is this main board or sideboard? I think that this is a main board card. At the very least, a 2 of on the main board, as I just stated, with a third in the sideboard, depending on how often you're going to need to see this. So, main board. Next up is Dampening Field. Dampening Field is a white pip card. When one of your characters defends, reveal it. And when revealed, your opponent cannot flip four battle cards during this, more than four battle cards during this battle. So, this is, let me pull up my notes, because I had a lot to say on Dampening Field. So, what does it play? So, unlike Bolster, we have to rely a little bit on intuition. Bolster is really there to screw with opponent's math, because you're dumping something that can potentially give tough or a stat boost. What we're doing with Supercharge is we are inhibiting their ability to flip cards. So when we play it, we are saying no to Supercharge. We are saying no, Wheeljack can't flip 5 cards. We are saying no to Power Punch. We are saying no to Flamethrower. We are saying no to Optimus Prime giving somebody the ability to go bold. We are saying if you flip that white pip, you can't get more than 4 cards. We are not screwing with their math so much as inhibiting them from achieving higher numbers. We're trying to control the flow of damage rather than letting them carry out the flow of damage, but interrupting it with skewing their math a little. So, like, say, kickback. We're slowing big swings down through the dampening of bold, or inhibiting them to further cause damage. It's just the primary difference between the two. One is delivering a buff, one is hindrance. Is this main board or sideboard? I would say this is sideboard. You don't know what you're sitting across from until you literally sit across from it and go, hey, here's my team. You don't know if the guy's playing a bug deck. You don't know if the guy's playing a Lionizer deck. You don't know if the guy's playing an aimless deck. You don't know if the guy's playing a Grimlock deck, or even a Cosmo deck, or a Metroplex. You don't know until you sit down and go, hey, here's my team. So this is definitely going to sit in your sideboard. You're going to ride out the first game at most, unless this is your goal to absolutely inhibit it. But even still, I would say I see Dampening Fields in sideboards more than I do anything else. I see it as a 3 of because it's a white pip, so you're more than likely going to be replacing 3 of your lesser used white pips, like, say, Escape Route. You'll be running 3 security checkpoints and 3 dampening fields, sideboarding your escape routes. Um, it just replaces 3 white pips for 3 new white pips, just to make sure that you're not swarmed with damage super fast. So yeah, 3 of definitely the sideboard. And when to play it is when you see someone with a giant amount of bolt coming at you, or you think that this is going to be the turn where Metroplex is going to proc, or this is the turn where Ultra Magnus is going to happen. This is not Ultra Magnus, because Ultra Magnus only needs 3. But, like I said, Metroplex, lots of bold, swing with the Wheeljack, swing with the kickback. Those are the times when I would play it. Next up, we got defensive formation. Defensive formation is an orange pip that says when your character defends, each of your characters gets +1 defense till the end of the turn. So, defensive formation. I have not really seen this card played a whole bunch. That being said, it is an orange pip, so it can go in an orange deck. It can go. I would mostly probably see it if it was played in smaller decks, like say Optimus Prime, Nova Star, or something that's 2 or 3 versus a 4 wide deck, or something that's gonna re-swing a whole lot. When you would play it, you're gonna need to see what the deck does first. So automatically, let's get this out of the way. This is gonna be a sideboard card. You don't know what you're sitting across from. You don't know how often they're gonna be reading. In this case, for this card, it would see play when you're playing against, like, for example, Soundwave and Pals. This really helps out when Soundwave swings and then it readies Ravage and Laserbeak to continue the long attack string. All your guys are still getting that big damage bonus. I don't think, but I could be wrong, and we are welcome to go hit those comments and hit the FAQs. But there was that anticipation engine deck that Joe from Wrecking Roll was running, where cards were continuously re-reading and letting them continue the turn to attack. This is when defensive formation comes in the best, because then this skews their math by giving you +1 defense. And while +1 defense doesn't seem like a lot, sometimes that is the difference between living and dying. It's just that one singular point of defense getting in their way, because you're still going to be flipping additionally. Plus, you could have tough. So that 1 point of defense could mean all the difference in the world, but you're really looking at only playing this card when you are looking at a deck that can extend its attack phase longer than it normally can. So probably a 2 of, probably sideboard, more than likely sideboard, probably add a 2 of, if anything. Like I said, I really don't have a lot of experience with defensive formation. I've really seen it played in a lot of decks. But that's not to say that Wave 4 won't let this be played more often. We just don't know. The meta is right now, it's not seeing a lot of play. We don't know what Wave 4 is going to bring. This could be the highlight card that saves us from something in set 4. All right, so moving right along, we have Hiding Spot. So Hiding Spot is one of my favorite cards in this game. It has saved me numerous times. It is our black pip. So flipping it gives us Pierce. That is pretty crucial in a blue deck, or, excuse me, a blue-black deck or a black deck. Its ability is after your opponent chooses an attacker, but before they choose a defender. So they get to choose who's attacking, and when they are saying, well, I'm attacking with so-and-so, and I'm going into, then you reveal and say, well, so-and-so has stuff. You got to choose someone else. So when is this play? So we are playing this to get the most, make sure the opponent is attacking the most suboptimal target. So we are playing it when a bot, which is like, say, one of your primary attackers is near death. You're going to shift that attack off of him by giving him stealth into a bot with 4 health or at least less damage to the bot that they were going after. The other reason why this card is amazing is because this lets us shift their attack onto our battle masters or target masters, forcing them to take the damage, getting our battle masters into weapon form. Like for example, what are a couple examples we can do with this? Like my blue light burn deck, where it's Prowl Raider, Aimless, and Chromium. Let's say, for example, I've already attacked with Aimless, and I've attacked with Chromium. They want to go into Chromium. Well, I am going to Hiding Spot and force them back into Aimless. So Aimless is going to get one step closer to going into uh, gun mode, which then I can put on Prowl. Or another example for this, using the same deck logic, is Prowl swung with Raider Aimless as his gun mode, and Chromie is already attacked. So they have a bot untapped. They can swing into either or. You hiding spot into Chromia, flip 2 for Chromia, get a free draw out of it, and Chromia takes the damage while Prowl lives on to be able to continue to burn the opponent for obscene amounts of damage. This is when I would be playing that card. Is it mainboard or sideboard? I would definitely mainboard this in any deck I plan on playing it. Especially a blue-black Pierce deck, or just a Pierce deck, or even a blue deck, or anything with Battle Masters. I usually run it at a 2 of. I see it at a decent enough frequency. You can run it at a 3 of, but it's got to be at least a minimal of 2. It's got to be mainboarded if you're running a Battle Master deck, because this always will shift focus to that. Or shift focus, like I said, to a bot with 4 health when one of your primary attackers is low in health. So, moving right along. We're on Infiltrate. Infiltrate says, reveal when your opponent plays an orange action, reveal it. When it's revealed, scrap that action and the effect fizzles. I also find it funny that this is Counterspell and it's a blue pip. I understand Wizards of the Coast. I get the in-joke. Very creative on the design team to mimic blue Counterspell. So, when do we play it? This shares some things with Bolster and Dampening Field. You're going to need to use intuition and some foresight. You don't know when the opponent's going to play something. So when you think they're going to play, like, say, Peace Through Tyranny or Supercharge or Reckless Charge, this is when you pop it. Sorry, Facebook notification. That happens. That is when you play it, because they're going to try and Peace Through Tyranny their Lionizer. You reveal this, say, well, no, you're not going to do it. Fizzles, please continue. Or they're going to say, well, let's supercharge Wheeljack. Or Optimus Prime Battle Legends. You're going to say, nope, sorry, please continue to swing. Honestly, you got to see what their opposing deck is going to do. This is going to be kind of like Bolster, where you can run it in a magnitude of decks. You can run it in a mixed deck. You can run it in a mono blue. You can run it in mono orange. You can run it in blue black. This fits in anywhere. It's also, is this mainboard or sideboard? This is, again, one of those, it's up to you. It can be both. If you're doing a lot of orange actions, or you know they got Peace Through Tyranny, you can sideboard in. If you're in a local community that's very, very heavy on orange decks, this could be in your main board. I would run 2 of it, possibly 3 depending on what's going on, but again, I would say 2 will do you fine. Moving right along, we have Scavenge the Battlefield. So Scavenge the Battlefield is an orange pip. It says, reveal when your characters is KO'd. And its ability is, when it's revealed, instead of scrapping that character's upgrades, you may put any number of them onto your other characters. So when is this used? This is used when You don't want your Lionizer or your Aimless or your Nightstick leaving the field. And when someone is killed, you can play this and shift it over to the next spot. Your RC gets killed with Lionizer on it, shift it over to Grimlock, or shift it over to Prime, shift it over to somebody. Your Aimless gets killed off of Prowl, put it on Chromia. That way, Chromia gets effects off, say, when she defends, you get a draw. When she attacks, you can burn for 2. Another good example for when you would use this is bugs. So when Kickback or Barrage is going to die, any of their armor can go onto your Chop Shop. Then you flip Chop Shop, heal Scrapnel. Uh, Anytime you're running a Battle Master deck, this is an automatic move. I would run probably 2 to 3 of these. Definitely main board if it's a Battle Master deck because you want to be able to transition the Battle Master onto somebody else rather than them going to the KO pile. I do understand we have Quartermaster to get it back and put it on somebody, but this is also just, it's just it happens right then rather than them going to the KO pile, sitting, waiting for you to dig for a Quartermaster, and then playing. So is this main board or sideboard? Again, if it's a Battle Master deck, I'd run it main board because, again, this lets you shift the Battle Master over when its initial user dies off. Any other time, I don't think this would see play in any other time. This can be used in any deck. So basically anything, any color Battle Master deck. And I said before, definitely at a 2 of, maybe a 3, just depending on how often you want to see it. Finally, we are rounding out this talk with Take Cover. Take Cover is very much like defensive formation. I have not seen a lot of use for this. Its ability is when one or more of your characters will take non-attack damage during your opponent's turn. When you're revealed, instead your characters do not take non-attack damage this turn. So, the positives are this protects you against Photon Bomb, against Zap, against Grimlock's Trample ability, against Prowl's Burn ability, against Aimless's Burn ability. The only drawback to this is that we have Motormaster. And Motormaster just sits there in his alt mode and negates all forms of non-attack damage all day. Is Motormaster the be-all end-all? No, because not every deck is going to run Motormaster. So you can run this instead of Motormaster if Motormaster doesn't fit on your team. And this is going to be like Damping Field. This is going to sit in your sideboard. You don't know what the opponent's playing until they sit down. When they say, hey, I'm playing Metroplex, or hey, I'm playing Ultra Magnus, or you see Grimlock come. Then you sideboard into this. There's no reason to mainboard this right off the bat. Because again, set 4 is coming. They could have the utilities in set 4 to make a fully functional burn deck. I mean, I've already made a burn deck. It's a very light burn deck, but burn is burned. And or a better burn deck has yet to be made. I mean, the pieces are sitting there. We just haven't done it yet. I know Plains burn. I know, like I said, Prowl burns. Just putting in Zap burns, Photon Bomb burns, Erratic Grenade burns, Metroplex burns with that giant slap of his, and Ultra Magnus just burns everybody. It's a kicker when his effect goes off and you flip Take Cover, and then his whole team takes damage based off his ability because Ultra Magnus damages everybody. So, like I said, I haven't seen this played a lot, but that doesn't mean it won't see play. Much like every other thing, I think it's a 2 of, but I think this is sideboard because you just don't know where you're sitting across from until it's too late. Alright guys, so that is all the secret actions. I want to thank you for watching. Hopefully, this has helped you understand some of the circumstances you can use these cards in, if you should mainboard them, sideboard them, how many you should be playing. Again, this is all just my opinion. If you have any other thoughts or you'd like to add to anything I'm saying, by all means, drop it in the comments, either on the Facebook, on the TCG groups where I'm posting these videos, or on the YouTube page itself. As always, guys, I appreciate the likes, the comments, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to rebuild the channel back up, make it a good, strong channel again. I love this Transformers TCG game. I am actually in full competitive mode because of this game, and I haven't been like that since Versus. So I am really trying to provide as quality of content as I can, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. And I will see you guys next time.